हरे कृष्ण। हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। बजाइए। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे
पूरा करो।
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू। ओके वी स्टार्ट। हाँ ठीक है। हेमगिरी बात वासुदेव को फोन करो और स्ट्रिप्सिल्स मंगवा ले। अभी आपको नहीं नहीं हरे कृष्णा। So this is a fixed batch for Bhakti Vaibhav. Anybody absent? Who? Who is absent? Who is absent? मिथिलापति, जानूद्वीप 39 है। अच्छा, ये अटेंडेंस भी होगा क्या? कौन लेगा? हाँ? एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर कौन है? आप है माधव सुंदर, तो अटेंडेंस वगैरह आप देखने का। आदित्य राम प्रभु, अद्वैत करुणा प्रभु, अक्षोभ्य प्रभु। अच्छा, वो छोटा छोटा है ये। अनंत नरसिंह प्रभु, ओके। अंशुमान वाजपेयी प्रभु, चैतन्य जीवन प्रभु, चैतन्य शास्त्री प्रभु, दुर्गा प्रसाद प्रभु, गोपाल आनंद प्रभु, गोविंद कुमार प्रभु, हरि नारायण प्रभु, हयग्रीव चरण प्रभु, हेमगिरी प्रभु, जानूद्वीप निताई प्रभु, कालचरण प्रभु, कौशल किशोर सिंह प्रभु, हरे कृष्ण। कुर्म कृपा प्रभु, हरे कृष्ण। माधव सुंदर प्रभु, मनमोहन कृष्ण प्रभु, मनोरम गौरांग प्रभु, मिथिलापति प्रभु, मुकुंद पद्मा प्रभु, नलिनीकांत प्रभु, निमाय निताय प्रभु, पुरुषोत्तम हरि प्रभु, राधा कृष्ण प्रभु, ओके, ही इज हियर। राम गोविंद प्रभु, साधु चरण प्रभु, संजय डांगर प्रभु, लेफ्ट व्हाट, शरद ओझा प्रभु, श्याम सुंदर गोविंद प्रभु, सुंदर चैतन्य प्रभु, वेलकम। सुंदरानंद ठाकुर प्रभु, क्या सतीश रेड्डी प्रभु, अच्छा फर्स्ट नेम क्या है? ओके, साई कृष्ण प्रभु, विष्णु तत्व प्रभु, हाँ, ब्रजमंडल प्रभु, पवन पुत्र प्रभु, राजबिहारी प्रेम प्रभु। Anybody whose name I didn't tell? Okay. So attendance, you will take care. I don't have to, right? So any devotee who cannot come one of the sessions, you don't have to come and tell me that tomorrow I am not coming. Huh? It's your freedom. Yeah, that is among yourselves, not to me. Is it? Yeah, so that's among the administrator, not for me, right? And whatever you do, that's fine with me. But it should not come to me, right? That's what I am saying. And somebody is coming late, they also don't have to inform me, Prabhuji, today I'll be half an hour late. Right? Among yourselves. If somebody has to step out in between for washroom or for some emergency or bore ho raha hai or whatever, without disturbing the class, you step out. Don't in between raise your hand, say, Prabhu, can I go out for washroom? Okay? Somebody has to come in between. They don't have to make noise at the door. They just come and sit. So don't disturb the class for these trivial things. Right? Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So,
Hare Krishna. So we are very thankful to His Grace Gopaleshwar Prabhu. Actually, for last many months, this was happening that we are requesting him for giving classes, but then somehow his schedule is different than. But then this time we could have his association for this Bhakti Vaibhav. Prabhuji was quite for last 3.5 months. he was out on tour of different countries. So we are very so we are very thankful that Prabhuji has taken out some time. Actually, Prabhuji had joined in 1999, so he's very senior, and I have seen Prabhuji for like now at least 12 years now. Previously, I was fortunate enough to be his room partner. So, but that was only for a few days. Krishna had broken that. So, and then from the beginning, I'm seeing that he has become a very great inspiration and shelter for many devotees. That different devotees go and consult, and then he gives very nice guidance. So as a practicing brahmachari, as a practicing sadhaka, and I have seen him, because once I was asking him that how could you read so many books, because I have seen him almost full libraries there at his place, and then he keeps reading so many books, although he had so many other services also. So that is also very amazing, because when he gives class, then we can see that he is very well versed, very learned. So that is a very good inspiration for brahmacharis. Although he has so many responsibilities here in temple, management-wise and many other things. So in our life also we can see that when we see such examples, then we can also have a very nice combination of seva and very nice shastra's connection, reading, discussing, like that. And he is ever available for any class or something like that. We ask him.
I was
So
with
we-
you class, no?
Yes, sorry. So we are very thankful that Prabhuji has agreed, and then always his classes are very inspirational. Specifically, I used to go with many questions, with so many philosophical questions. So he has very nice understanding. So we are very happy that this session he is taking. So we are very thankful and grateful that he has come and extending his association. Although his health is little, he was telling that after extensive travel, but then he had mercifully agreed to take this. So we are very thankful. So we want to gratefully acknowledge, express our gratitude by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra very loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you.
Thank you, Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu. So these 4 chapters, anybody started reading? Okay. Or you must have read before also. So there are some concepts which you may be aware. Everybody aware, all of you. And some less aware, or half aware, half not aware. So based on the audience, if you are already aware of some concept, I will skip it. So what you are not aware, or what you have doubts in, or what you need further clarifications, I give more time to that. Is that okay? So the sessions will be based on audience, based on you. If some purport you feel, हाँ ये तो मालूम है, easy है, or just information or already discussed, we'll spend less time. If somebody has a doubt in a particular statement, we spend more time on it. Okay? So in other words, if there's a different set of audience, the same verse or chapter, there will be different discussion. So it doesn't depend on me, what I have prepared or not prepared. Anyway, I have not prepared. Or it doesn't depend on that. Of course, there's something very important, I will highlight it. But it all depends on you all, the audience. And there will be no class. We will read. As we are reading a particular statement, you get a doubt, you raise your hands right in between, on the spot. And you ask. If there is nobody raising hand, we go to next verse. Assuming that for now, you are okay with that, whatever you read. Is that okay? Okay, what is difference between teaching and learning? Yes, Madhav Sundar Prabhu.
Learning means some concept we are conceiving that. Learning means any concept we are conceiving from any other teacher, other person. And teaching means some concept we are making aware or making understanding to others.
Okay. Yes, Sundar Chaitanya.
Teaching is one way, learning is both.
Right. So there is not much difference between teaching and cheating. That's why teacher and cheater. Similar, right? So we are not going to do teaching. We are going to do learning. Okay? I don't know everything, but whatever I know, out of that, whatever you want to extract through your questions, you extract. It's like that. Like, not me, but suppose you sit under a desire tree, but you don't desire a mango. Will the desire tree give you mango? Does it has mango? So it depends on what you desire, what you extract. So through questions we extract. Okay? Also another thing is we keep our mobiles silent. How many of you are using, not using book? Okay, so many. So can we have some extra books? Okay, how many of you don't have a device and a book? Don't have both? Okay, something you have to refer. So it's good to have book rather than laptop. Get a little distracted with the screen and not at all mobile, There are lots of notifications and other things. So don't distract yourself and don't distract the class. Okay? Okay, we start reading. So everybody, each one of you should take a voluntary choice to read one by one. Not necessarily particular sequence as you feel inspired. And how many cordless mics we have? One, huh? Okay. Which sequence? We read in sequence? No. We read as person gets inspired. Less mechanical, more organic. Okay, we do both. Now we read without sequence. If it doesn't work, we add sequence. Okay? Yeah, who wants to read first? Aditya Ram Prabhu. So when I say next, it means next reading. So you don't have to raise hand, just take a book and read. Right? The transaction is not required that I say yes or move my head, then you read. Not required. Okay? Yes, start.
Chapter 12 Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Text 1 Sri Shaunaka Uvacha Ashwathamnopasrishtena Brahmarshishnuruke Uttaraya Hato Garbha Ishena Jivitah Punah. What word will go through, Prabhuji?
No.
Translation. The sage Saunak said, the womb of Uttara, mother of Maharaj Parikshit, was spoiled by the dreadful and invincible Brahmastra, weapon released by Ashwathama. But Maharaj Parikshit was saved by the Supreme Lord. Purport. The sages assembled in the forest of Naimisharanya inquired from Shut Goswami about the birth of Maharaj Parikshit. But in the course of the narration, other topics like the release of the Brahmastra by the son of Drona, his punishment by Arjuna, Queen Kunti Dev's prayers, the Pandavas' visit to the place where Bhishma Dev was lying, his prayers, and thereafter the Lord's departure for Dwarka were discussed. His arrival at Dwarka and residing with the 16,000 queens, etc., were narrated. The sages were absorbed in hearing such descriptions, but now they wanted to turn to the original topic, and thus the inquiry was made by Shaunak Rishi. So the subject of the release of Brahmastra weapon by Ashwathama is renewed.
So we recall that Mother Uttara, she came running to Krishna when he was on the chariot about to go to Dwaraka. And that time all the family members, 5 Pandavas, Kunti, Subhadra, Draupadi and other palace residents were surrounding the chariot praying to Krishna, don't go. And Mother Uttara came for help, to receive help, because Ashwathama shot a Brahmastra to kill the child in the womb. And Krishna protected the child. And seeing the way Krishna protected the child, Kunti Maharani got inspired to offer prayers. And her prayers and then other episodes Shuta Goswami discussed. And Shaunak Rishi didn't stop because he was enjoying the discussion. He was enjoying hearing the pastimes of Krishna. But now he wants to come back to the topic. He wants to come back what happened after Krishna protected the child. So multiple times you will see in Bhagavatam a particular topic is going and it doesn't go in sequence. It goes somewhere left, right. And then it comes back. It's not necessarily historical, it's not necessarily chronological, it's not necessarily logical, but that's fine. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is a literature of devotional service. Out of love, the speaker is speaking and the audience is hearing. And love means emotions. It's not necessarily mechanical or academic or logical sequence or chronological or historical. They're talking about Krishna. Whatever we talk about Krishna is nice. So sometimes you see in our Bhagavatam class also, the speaker goes very much away from the purport. So they get inspired. Next.
Text 2. तस्य जन्म महाबुद्धे कर्माणि चाहमात्मनः यथैवासीत् सप्रेत्य गतवान् यथा. Translation. How was the great Emperor Parikshit, who was a highly intelligent and great devotee, born in that womb? How did his death take place, and what did he achieve after his death? Purport. The king of Hastinapur, now Delhi, used to be the emperor of the world. at least till the time of son of Emperor Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit was saved by the Lord in the womb of his mother. So he could certainly be saved from an untimely death due to the ill will of the son of Brahmana. Because the age of Kali began to act just after the assumption of power by Maharaj Parikshit, the first sign of misgivings was exhibited in the cursing of such a greatly intelligent and devoted king as Maharaj Parikshit. The king is the protector of the helpless citizen, and their welfare, peace, and prosperity depends on him. Unfortunately, by the instigation of the fallen age of Kali, an unfortunate Brahmana's son was employed to condemn the innocent Maharaj Parikshit. And so the king had to prepare himself for death within 7 days. Maharaj Parikshit is especially famous as one who is protected by Vishnu. And when he was unduly cursed by Brahmana's son, he could have invoked the mercy of the Lord to save him. But he did not want to because he was a pure devotee. A pure devotee never asks the Lord for any undue favor. Maharaj Parikshit knew that the curse of the Brahmana's son upon him was unjustified, as everyone else knew. But he did not want to counteract it, because he knew also that the age of Kali had begun, and that the first symptom of the age, namely degradation of the highly talented Brahmana community, has also begun. He did not want to interfere with the current of the time, but he prepared himself to meet death very cheerfully and very properly. Being unfortunate, he got being fortunate, he got at least 7 days to prepare himself to meet death, and so he properly utilized the time in the association of Sukadev Goswami, the great saint and devotee of the Lord.
So, the Brahmastra, it destroyed the atmosphere in the womb for the child to stay comfortably. Definitely Krishna protected the boy, but the Brahmastra did some destruction. So after that, how did the child stay in the womb? Of course, that's Krishna arranged. So the rishis are inquiring. And now they're inquiring about death. Now, very rarely you will find somebody talking about a departed soul's death. I want to know how he died. Right? But Parikshit Maharaj is special. Somebody who was protected by Krishna, will he die? Because why not Krishna will protect again? And if he dies and Krishna doesn't protect him, that's a bigger leela. Why Krishna didn't protect his own devotee? That should be very great circumstances, that Krishna didn't protect his devotee. Krishna protects his devotees common. Krishna doesn't protect his devotees, impossible. Never happens. So his death is very interesting. That's why, as we know, when Parikshit Maharaj was departing, the whole world was there. CNN, BBC, Times of India. Their ancestors were there. And the demigods and the kings and the rishis and the sages and the devotees, everybody was there. They wanted to see what will happen now. Will a 5-year-old Brahmana's curse be effective and the snake bird will come? Question 1. They wanted to capture that snake in the video, in their eyes. And if the snake bird comes, will it bite or not bite? Or will it see the crowd and go away? If it bites, will Krishna protect Parikshit Maharaj? then we will see Krishna. And if it doesn't protect Parikshit Maharaj, he will go back home, back to Godhead. We'll see a soul going back home, back to Godhead. That's a bigger Leela. So it was a very interesting phenomena, an event, unparalleled event, somebody going back home, back to Godhead. So everybody was there. So even a devotee's death is interesting for the audience. So Shaunak Rishi is interested to know Parikshit Maharaj's birth and Parikshit Maharaj's death. Parikshit Maharaj, he knew that curse was not justified, but he didn't protest. He didn't counter. He didn't complain. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't send an email. He didn't do anything against it. He accepted it. Said, it's nice. Kali Yuga is coming. Let me use this as an exit ticket. Exit this Kali Yuga atmosphere. And how was the Kali Yuga's effect started? Started with the degradation of Brahmana class, higher class. So when Brahmanical class gets degraded, Varnashram gets degraded. When the leaders get degraded, the society gets degraded. When your brain gets degraded, your body gets degraded. When the HOD gets degraded, the department gets degraded. It all starts from the top. So to protect our bhakti, we should protect our brain, which means protect our decisions. Our decisions should be based on scriptures, knowledge, not feelings, not emotions, not mood, not desires, not based on comfort, not based on convenience, not based on newspaper, not based on WhatsApp forward, not based on fools in majority or people around us. No. Should be based on knowledge, scriptures. Otherwise we get degraded by the Kali Yuga atmosphere and we take a wrong decision. And that's damaging to our spiritual growth. Okay, this typing is making noise. You can have an alternative. Huh? Yes, Sharad.
So here, almost in the middle of the paragraph, Maharaj Parikshit knew that the curse of the Brahmana's son upon him was unjustified. So, but then we also hear that Parikshit Maharaj was expecting, on the way to his kingdom back after that incident, he was very much expecting that why I did that, I should have not done that, I should be punished actually. And at that time only, after some time, he received the news that, oh, I got. So how to understand this line then?
He was expecting punishment.
Not like
but
this
a
kind of
curse that a snake bird will come and kill, that's not justified. Even Shamik Rishi's father told him, Shringi Rishi's father, Shamik Rishi told him that a king who came for water, he doesn't deserve this kind of reaction. Even if he put a dead snake in my neck. Even if he has to be punished, this is a much bigger punishment than for a smaller mistake. Will you as a judge give death sentence to somebody who put a dead snake as a garland to some rishi? Death sentence is not justified. Some other punishment could be done.
But then one can say that it was attempting to kill him only, in the sense, one can say that, in the sense, what if the snake would have, was not dead, then that is like an attempt to kill him only, in one sense.
How? What if the
Like in the sense, what if the snake, it was an attempt basically.
it was just an insult, not attempt to murder. Dead snake cannot bite. Do you know that? He was not having that kind of intention. Judgment is given on action and intention. The motive of the murder has to be there. If there is no motive of murder and a murder takes place, even today's law doesn't punish them equally. It's called accident. So his motive was not there to kill the person who didn't give him water. So it was not justified to curse him for death. That's the main point, which even Shamik Rishi agrees. Okay? Shamik Rishi agrees, Sukadeva Goswami agrees, so let us agree. Okay? Yes. Yeah. You want a mic? Maybe we can keep 2 mics.
In the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that he knew that the age of Kali had begun. It means that he doesn't want to be before the age of Kali begins, or he wanted to leave the body.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in Kali Yuga. Who wants to be in Kali Yuga? It's not an interesting place. You want to be? No, you want to be? Ah, okay. So he also doesn't want to be in Kali Yuga. Kali had already approached him and he denied giving any space. But out of sympathy, he gave some restricted space. And Kali was looking for more space. So when Shringi Rishi cursed, everybody knew Kali Yuga had captured Shringi Rishi's intelligence. And with that spoiled intelligence, he cursed. So he knew Kali Yuga has taken over. It is just going to be some more time that it becomes all-pervading. It spreads out. The graph has started to go down. So we generally wait for the problem to become very bad, then react. He responding on the first stage, said, I don't want to be here, so let me accept this curse and exit. Okay? That's mode of goodness. Do not react, but be proactive. Yes, Aditya Ram Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Shringi Rishi, he was a Brahmana. So what happens to a Brahmana that he get captured by the effect of Kali?
Immature and proud. He was a small child with a power of cursing the king. That's a big one. A 5-year-old boy has a power to curse the king. And he was immature. So out of sentimental anger that his father is insulted, Kali Yuga took this opportunity. Pride means a person thinks, I am great, and others are not great. And that's very dangerous. To value ourselves more than others. It's very dangerous. One should be extremely humble. A Brahmana, a Vaishnava, a Brahmachari should be very humble. Not think oneself great. That's Kali Yuga's power. Then we'll misuse our power and we'll exploit the facilities or the strength and disturb a weak person. So Shringi Rishi was captured by Kali Yuga, the personality of Kali. So personality of Kali spoiled the intelligence of Shringi Rishi to kill Parikshit Maharaj, because Parikshit Maharaj was the biggest obstacle for Kali to establish his supremacy in this world. Okay? So power should be in the hands of mature person, who will use the power to help the weak person grow in life, not misuse the power to subdue the weaker section of the society further. That's not good. Okay? Next.
तदिदं श्रोतुमिच्छामो गदितुं यदि मन्यसे ब्रूहि न श्रद्धानानां यस्य ज्ञानमदाच्छुकः. We all respectfully want to hear about him, Maharaj Parikshit, to whom Shukdev Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge. Please speak on this matter. Purport. Shukdev Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge to Maharaj Parikshit during the remaining 7 days of his life, and Maharaj Parikshit heard him properly, just like an ardent student. The effect of such a bona fide hearing and chanting of Srimad Bhagavatam was equally shared by both the hearer and the chanter. Both of them were benefited. Out of the 9 different transcendental means of devotional service to the Lord prescribed in the Bhagavatam, either all of them or some of them or even one of them are equally beneficial if properly discharged. Maharaj Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami were serious performers of the first 2 important items, namely the process of chanting and the process of hearing, and therefore both of them were successful in their laudable attempt. Transcendental realization is attained by such serious hearing and chanting and not otherwise. There is a type of spiritual master and disciple much advertised in this age of Kali. It is said that the master injects spiritual force into the disciple by an electrical current generated by the master, and the disciple begins to feel the shock. He becomes unconscious and the master weeps for his exhausting his storehouse of so-called spiritual assets. Such bogus advertisement is going on in this age, and the poor common man is becoming the victim of such advertisement. We do not find such folk tales in the dealings of Shukdev Goswami and his first great disciple Maharaj Parikshit. The sage recited Srimad Bhagavatam in devotion, and the great king heard him properly. The king did not feel any shock or of electric current from the master, nor did he become unconscious while receiving knowledge from the master. One should not therefore become a victim of these unauthorized advertisements made by some bogus representative of Vedic knowledge. The sages of Naimisharanya were very respectful in hearing about Maharaj Parikshit because of his receiving knowledge from Shukdev Goswami by means of ardent hearing. Ardent hearing from the bona fide master is the only way to receive transcendental knowledge, and there is no need for medical performances or occult mysticism for miraculous effects. The process is simple, but only the sincere party can achieve the desired result.
So, our 2 years are very, very important for spiritual growth. With our ears, we just give attentive hearing to a bona fide speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's all we have to do. Just by doing that, we can go back to Godhead. Even whatever sadhana and service we have to perform, we'll be automatically inspired to do that just by hearing suitably. Hearing itself is a complete process. It inspires us to chant and perform service. So hearing, like Parikshit Maharaj heard from Shukadeva Goswami, is sufficient for any transformation required in our life and in our heart to grow in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada has given us this literature, these books and Bhagavatam classes, and every event there is a class, there is a hearing opportunity, and we should do this. Hear more and more, read more and more, and that's why we have this Bhakti Vaibhav course, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, to understand what we are reading. So this is a very nice opportunity, and we should participate attentively. So just as Parikshit Maharaj heard, Shukadeva Goswami spoke, Shravanam, Kirtanam, this complete process. Our whole spiritual life depends on this, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So we chant our rounds, we hear. We sit in Bhagavatam class, we hear. And that hearing will help us for any changes required for our spiritual advancement. So multiple times you will see Srila Prabhupada emphasizing on this. Hearing, hearing, hearing. All great souls in Bhagavatam, they are great because they heard from other great. Vidura heard from, Parikshit Maharaj heard from, Prahlad Maharaj heard from, Vyasdev heard from, Narad Muni heard from, Brahma heard from, Krishna heard from. So everybody is hearing. Sandipani Muni heard from Krishna. Arjuna heard from Krishna. So only hearing is very powerful. There are two ways to solve problems. One way is hearing. Another way is creating another problem. That's called management. When we use authority, power, force. So that's not a proper solution. Education is a proper solution. Of course, management is required, but hearing education is more proper way to solve our problems. So we should emphasize on that. That's Brahminical. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all four will solve the same problem in four different ways. Suppose you approach all four with same problem. Say somebody took your money and the person is not giving it back. So you approach a Brahmana. He took my money, he is not giving back. But the Brahmana will solve it. He'll say, see if you can forget it, leave it. Or keep the relationship. One day when he is able to, he will give you. You go to Kshatriya, you say he is not giving my money. You say, take this sword. He'll give you today only. Or kill him. You go to Vaishya and say he is not giving me money. Say, go to his house and eat every day. And vasool kar lo. You go to Shudra and say he is not giving me money. Said, go on the internet, write about him. Spoil his name. All four are solving the problems in four different ways. So the point is not to solve the problem, the point is to solve the problem properly, and that's where hearing comes in. So you may go out tomorrow and see the problems in the society. And there are government leaders who are solving those same problems. But those who are students of Bhagavatam, they are supposed to solve the same problem in a different way, not in the same way. So clapping on material solutions is not a Vaishnava. Vaishnava has to give a better solution, even for social problems. And that comes from Srimad Bhagavatam. And for that we have to learn Srimad Bhagavatam. For that we have to apply Srimad Bhagavatam. For that we have to understand and be convinced of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, have you read, is meant to create revolution in the whole world. Have you read it? At least allow it to create revolution in your life, my life. So we should live by Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing, that's very important. So if I have problem in life, do I solve it based on my upbringing, based on my school and college education, or based on my reading in Srimad Bhagavatam? That shows what I am convinced of. Have I joined ISKCON Brahmachari Ashram, but I am still convinced of the same formula which I used to use before joining? Same strategies? Or have I changed and I have new strategies based on my reading and hearing? There is a change required. So our thought process, our decisions should be based on Srimad Bhagavatam. For that we have to keep hearing and be firmly convinced about the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam. That if I follow Srimad Bhagavatam, even if I have a loss, even if I have more pain, even if I have discomfort, even if I have inconvenience, but still I will be successful. Rather than following material solutions, which are comfortable, convenient, profitable, but ultimate failures, because next life we become a dog. What is the use? So we keep hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Allow it to create a revolution in our life. Okay? Questions? Next. Question? Yeah, Harinarayan. Mike?
You told that we have to be firmly convinced that the principles or solutions given in Srimad Bhagavatam are correct. So how this conviction will be developed?
By hearing and by associating with devotees who are convinced and by applying all the three. We hear good and we associate with faithful devotees and we start applying. That if I serve Krishna, I don't have to do anything else in my life. All success achieved, all perfection received, all desires fulfilled, all needs fulfilled. There's a verse also like that. Who knows? जोर से रासबिहारी जोर से You told, right? So जोर से बोलो. Speak loudly. Shraddha? What is that? माइक में बोलो.
श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास के लिए सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कहले सर्व कर्म कृत है.
What is the translation?
Just by having faith in Krishna, that is, sir, sudrudha nischay, that is something like that. Forget. Firm faith in Krishna.
Okay, who knows this verse? Who else knows? Yeah, Aditya Ram Prabhu. You know the verse and translation? Okay, loudly, with full conviction. Conviction in the
श्रद्धा
verse.
शब्द विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्त हरे कृष्ण
Again.
श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्मकृत है द वर्ड श्रद्धा मीन्स great determination सुदृढ़ निश्चय that by performing devotional service unto the Lord Sri Krishna all the activities are performed, all the responsibilities are performed.
And all the perfection is achieved. Good. So that conviction we should have, firm conviction. Once Srila Prabhupada, who was little ill, he told his secretary, call all the GBC members who are here in the temple and city. So 8 to 10 GBC members were there. They all came to Prabhupada's room. And Srila Prabhupada asked one question to each one of them. Said, are you convinced that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Nobody replied anything. I mean, how can you reply to the Guru? Yes, yes, don't worry, I am convinced. You know. All few years in movement, you know, young boys. Everybody was silent. Prabhupada said, look, that is the problem. I am convinced that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why I am pushing this movement. After me, if you are not convinced, you will not be able to push this movement. So conviction. One reporter asked, Swamiji, do you believe Krishna is God? Prabhupada said, no. It doesn't matter whether I believe or not. It is a fact that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we should be convinced that if I serve Krishna, I don't have to do anything else in my life. Everything taken care. So that conviction is required. And especially we who have joined ashram, we should carry out this conviction. Live life as per this conviction. Don't look back at any possibilities and opportunities of having material wealth or material position or material family or property or gaon ka zameen or gaon ka bangla or brothers are fighting or this. No, don't worry about all this. Krishna will take care. He is taking care of everybody and millions of living entities. Just serve Radha Ras Bihari with full conviction that everything will be taken care. You don't have any obligations. That's all. So in this life we have a wonderful opportunity. We have taken already a decision based on conviction that I want to serve Krishna full time. So now let's make it full time. Make your full time, full time. Actually do it full time. Only Krishna. Krishna and only Krishna. Nobody else and nothing else. Only Krishna. Then you are always joyful. Don't need anything else. Okay? Next.
Text. Sutta uvacha apipalad-dharmaraja pitrivatranjayan praja nishpriha sarva kamebhyo Krishna padanusevaya. Translation. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, Sri Sutta Goswami said, Emperor Yudhishthir administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his personal continuous service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Purport. As mentioned in our introduction, there is a need for the science of Krishna in human society for all the suffering humanity of the world, and we simply request the leading personalities of all the nations to take the science of Krishna for their own good, for the good of society and for the good of all the people of the world. So, it is confirmed herein by the example of Maharaj Yudhishthir. The personality of Godhead and the personality of goodness. In India, the people hanker after Ram Rajya because the personality of Godhead was the ideal king, and all other kings or emperors in India control the destiny of the world for the prosperity of every living being who took birth on the earth. Herein the word praja is significant. The etymological import of the word is that which is born. On the earth, there are many species of life, from the aquatics up to the perfect human beings, and all are known as prajas. Lord Brahma, the creator of this particular universe, is known as the Prajapati because he is the grandfather of all who have taken birth. Thus, praja is used in a broader sense than it is now used. The king represents all living beings, the aquatics, plants, trees, reptiles, birds, animals, and man. Every one of them is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And the king, being the representative of the Supreme Lord, is duty bound to give proper protection to every one of them. This is not the case with the presidents and the dictators of this demoralized system of administration, where the lower animals are given no protection while the higher animals are given so-called protection. But this is a great science which can be learned only by one who knows the science of Krishna. By knowing the science of Krishna, one can become the most perfect man in this world, and unless one has knowledge in this science, all qualifications and doctorates, diplomas acquired by academic education are spoiled and useless. Maharaj Yudhishthir knew this science of Krishna very well, for it is stated here that by continuous cultivation of this science or by the continuous devotional service to Lord Krishna, he acquired the qualification of administering the state. The father is sometimes seemingly cruel to the son, but that does not mean that the father has lost the qualification to be a father. A father is always a father because he always has the good of the son at the heart. The father wants every one of his sons to become a better man than himself. Therefore, a king like Maharaj Yudhishthir, who was the personality of goodness, wanted everyone under his administration, especially human beings who have better developed consciousness, to become devotees of Lord Krishna, so that everyone can become free from the trifles of the material existence. His motto of administration was all good for the citizens, for as personified goodness, he knew perfectly well what is actually good for them. He conducted the administration on the principle and on the Rakshasi demoniac principle of sense gratification, not on the Rakshasi demoniac principle of sense gratification. As an ideal king, he had no personal ambition, and there was no place for sense gratification because all his senses at all times were engaged in the loving service of the Supreme Lord, which includes the partial service to the living beings, who form the parts and parcels of the complete whole. Those who are busy rendering service to the parts and parcel, leaving aside the whole, only spoil time and energy, as one does when watering the leaves of the trees without watering the root. If water is poured on the root, the leaves are enlivened perfectly and automatically. But if water is poured on the leaves only, the whole energy is spoiled. Maharaj Yudhishthir therefore was constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, and thus the parts and parcels of the Lord, the living beings under his careful administration, were perfectly attended with all comforts in this life and all progress in the next. That is the way of perfect management of state administration.
So Yudhishthira Maharaj is glorified that he has no personal ambition and no sense gratification. But these two are effects, results of his continuous service to Krishna. If you find a person in the world without personal ambition and no sense gratification and no service to Krishna, it's useless. In fact, not possible. Only by service of Krishna one can be free from personal ambition and sense gratification. If artificially one is free from both without Krishna consciousness, it is just a pretense. It doesn't work. It is not worthy of respect. It is like thieves stealing the bank and then going in private and saying, let's divide it honestly. That honesty is not worthy of respect. When you hear, you cannot say, wow, these people are so honest. No, it's not worthy of respect. They are thieves. So main thing is not to have these qualities. Main thing is to have these qualities because of service to Krishna. If an administrator or a leader or a king or any person who has a subordinate has personal ambition, he will end up exploiting the subordinate to fulfill his ambition. So he will use the subordinate as resource, like HR, human resource. He will use the subordinate as an object, as a tool to fulfill my ambition. I have an ambition and I have a subordinate, and I am avoiding using that subordinate for my ambition. Will it work? No, it will not work. I have an ambition and I have a subordinate who is obedient to me. I will end up using that subordinate for my ambition. Obvious. So that's where comes exploitation, that's where comes manipulation, that's where comes abuse in the name of surrender. So if I have an ambition to become most famous brahmachari in the world, and I have some assistants, then to fulfill that ambition, whatever task I have to do, I will use my assistants. In the name of Krishna consciousness, I have an ambition to come first in marathon. Okay. But I will use whatever resources are available to me. And whoever is available to me, eventually my attitude towards them will be of a resource rather than a person or a devotee or a Vaishnava. I start using things, seeing them as objects. So personal ambition is very, very dangerous. It leads to major issues, especially exploitation of devotees. So leader should not have personal ambition. Otherwise he'll misuse his subordinates' surrender and obedience. And Srila Prabhupada said, if my top leaders have personal ambition, ISKCON will be finished. Because a person who has a personal ambition will sacrifice everything for fulfilling the personal ambition. It may be the institute also. So a king, the emperor of the planet, not having personal ambition, that's a big one. And that's Yudhishthira Maharaj. So if you are a leader, you have to be free from personal ambition. Or you have to be very careful not to create attitude of objects towards your subordinates. They are not objects, they are persons. And you have to be sensitive to people around us. You have to care, understand their emotions and feelings. Just like if I take this chair and keep it this side, I don't have to worry whether that chair likes that chair or not, whether they both chairs are friends or not. They have been there for 2 years together. So there are no emotions and feelings in that chair. But when I move from one devotee to another devotee, from one place to another place, one temple to another temple, one department to another department, one project to another project, I have to worry. There are emotions, there are feelings, there are attachments, and the individual ambitions. There are so many things. So we deal with people, not impersonally. Consider others as objects. It's easy to do when you consider them objects. You don't have to worry, just move here and there, just deal as you want. But when you consider others as people, you have to make a change in yourself so that I deal properly. And it's very difficult to change ourselves. So better to deal as objects, as impersonal. That's not our movement. So we have to be very, very careful. Constantly we have to make a change in ourselves, modify ourselves. Then only we will be able to deal with devotees. So no personal ambition, no sense gratification. And for a sadhaka, that means senses should be used in the service of Krishna. Even if I want to eat nicely, I should honor prasad. Or whatever way I want to engage my senses, it should be connected to Krishna. So everybody is praja, not only humans, everybody is praja. And every person, especially in human society, who comes in contact with me should gain some Krishna consciousness. That should be our try. I should offer some service. That should be our try. So for a leader, whoever are praja, even non-humans, they have to be taken care. Unnecessary, we should not even cut trees and plants or harm animals. So everybody should be taken care. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is the ideal king. And he has no personal ambition, no sense gratification. And whole day he is engaged in Krishna's service. Like Prabhupada gave us whole morning to evening full day program. So something or other we should keep doing for Krishna. Always busy with Krishna. So that will keep us purified. Like in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami is given a example of iron rod kept in fire. It becomes fire. But then it should be in fire always. If you take it out, after a few hours it will again cool down. So we have to always be in Krishna's service. As soon as we leave the service, become idle, we start getting cooled down. The three modes start getting influencing us. So we should always be chanting, reading, hearing, serving, discussing, dancing. Some service we should keep doing. Especially in free time we should read. Chant more, read more. Do it that way. More and more reading and hearing we should do. when we are free. And of course, when we have responsibility, we should execute it nicely. Should do nice service, especially whatever allotted to us. So that way we can be free from sense gratification. We can be free from fruitive activities. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, by his own example, he encouraged all the living entities under him to practice Krishna consciousness. That's good manager, making sure all praja are practicing Krishna consciousness. So his kingdom became very glorified. Even demigods used to talk about his kingdom, like Ram Rajya, the kingdom of Lord Ramchandra. Okay? Yes, Chaitanya Shastri, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Our leaders should take care of these subordinates, their emotions, like that. So, two cases arise. What if, say, you are having a center in which you are having a subordinate whom you have employed, say a cook. So, when we are paying him some salary, we it has to be more or less like a relationship has to be very formal. We cannot have such an informal, emotional kind of thing, even though he may be a devotee. Is it not? Or do you feel that?
Well, that is the case right now, nowadays. But I was about to make a statement about staff also. Good you brought it up. That even a staff is first a human and a devotee or a prospective devotee. So one should not objectify. So one has to take care of every subordinate, including a staff.
But then he may take undue advantage of our.
No, we have to take care of that. That's called expertise. We have to take care of his performance. But why don't you think otherwise? Then he may perform better. As you are thinking, he may take undue advantage. What the possibility also arises that he may perform better. He'll become more loyal. Which one do you think will work? And which one do you think is more possible? The very worry that he may take undue advantage makes you take undue advantage. No? He is also thinking, this fellow is taking undue advantage of me. He's just not bothered about me. He just wants to get the work done. No? He's also thinking the same way.
Because he's taking salary, so he's expected to do it.
Yeah, so that is there, that is very basic there. At the same time, if there is much further mature relationship, he'll become more loyal. Tomorrow if there's fire on the house, he's not taking salary for putting water. You want him to put water or not? Huh?
Yes.
But you're not paying him for that. You're just paying him for cooking. So when you want him to do something more, you have to do also something more. So tomorrow he's sick, you cannot say, I just gave you money, you take care of yourself. You have to take care. Right? So when you apply the philosophy in the current scheme of institution, you will have all these dilemmas. Because we are going more in institution and corporate style. But let's follow the philosophy. So it's essential within our capacity to do our best.
Secondly, say, we often hear brahmachari means whatever is told, you do. Jo bola so karo, something like that. So, say if I am in care of some brahmacharis, as a part of a training, I can kind of be more firm with them and then
because they also have to learn to.
Okay, you are in care of some brahmacharis or you are caring for some brahmacharis?
I mean, if I'm supposed in a position where I'm
Okay, yeah.
kind of training brahmacharis or they're under my care,
Hmm.
so then.
Fortunate soul. Huh?
So then I expect them to, like, when you talk about emotions and then this and that,
So you are caring for
it
brahmacharis
has
means.
to be more like a military style. I like
So
many of them have like that.
So when you are caring for brahmacharis means whom you are caring for?
Caring means training them in the sense that.
So who is that person? You're caring for eyes or ears or nose or hands or lungs or kidney? Which part you are caring and which part you are not caring? So tomorrow his dhoti gets torn. Will you care for it or you will say that's not my responsibility?
Yeah, I will, sure.
So mind also? Or mind is excluded? Kidneys also or kidney is excluded? Mind has emotions. You cannot say, okay, I care for your body but not for your emotions. I care for your dhoti but not for your emotions. Can you say that? My authority told me to take care of you minus kidneys and mind. So those problems I will not take care. You have to take care of the whole person. So he has emotion, he has anger. You can't say anger outside the room. You'll have to care for it. You have to deal with it. How you deal with it is second thing. But you have to be dealing with it. It's like taking care of a baby. You cannot say, I'll take care of the mouth part, not what comes outside. No, you have to clean that also. Right? But yeah, it can be complicated. We have to take care of overall being. But our process, whatever we are having, that allows this. That allows to take care of this. Right? Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. But these dealings with subordinate and things like that, I was just having this kind of thing that when we are, the way the Chanakya also says that Panchavarshani Tadayet and then Lalayet Panchavarshani Tadayet Dashavarsha and then Prapte tu Shodashe Varshe Putram Mitra Vadacharet. That. So the dealings will be different in different scenario. Like somebody's child, you may not take care of his emotions. He may cry, but you may still send him to school, whether he cries or what. So taking care of emotions and seeing what is good for him, that both things has to be very kind of properly seen. If you just take care of emotions and then he has wrong emotions, then that also, you may take care of emotions for some time, but then for longer period he may lack knowledge or enlightenment or things like that. So when somebody is getting trained, he has to be trained at different levels. Is that correct, my understanding?
Yeah, I am not saying what to do. I am saying his primary question was take care. I am saying yes, you have to deal with it. Now sometimes you ignore it. That is also part of dealing. Some emotions have to be ignored. That's also part of dealing, because ignore also can give growth. Right? You getting me? Some student is solving maths problem. You know the solution, the student doesn't know the solution. Should you give the solution or not? No, you have to allow him ignore the struggle for a few minutes, so that if he comes out with the solution, that means your teaching has been good in the class. Right? So you have to deal with it. You have to know when to ignore, you have to know when to react. So you are correct. At some stage, something more important has to be selected I understood the question that should we deal with it or not. So you have to deal with it. You have to be, that's part of your responsibility. So those who have voluntarily chosen to get trained and now they have emotions about the pain of training, that can be neglected. That's fine. But you should not break a person. Right? Like somebody has decided to fast and now is hungry. We have to continue fasting. It's Nirjala Ekadashi. Because you already taken a decision. Now there's austerity. That is very different from there is no decision of fasting and is hungry. That hunger has to be dealt with in a different way. Right? So the final objective is that the person grows. So whether he grows by attending his emotions or ignoring his emotions, we have to deal with in a particular way. So his overall welfare, his overall well-being has to be taken care. I was highlighting emotions because that is generally ignored. But sometimes it may be ignored, that's fine. It may be necessary. But don't create attitude of objects towards subordinates. That's the main point. Okay? Sharat. He raised his hands first. Mike.
This point you were mentioning about personal ambitions and motives. So, let's say, like it becomes very difficult to understand whether is it really exploitation or engaging everyone in the service. Because as a person, every individual will have a certain way to please Krishna, way to serve their spiritual master in this way, no? Like for example, 7 purposes of ISKCON. So every person will have a different way. He may choose to serve Prabhupada in that way. So like now to figure it out whether is this personal ambition of mine to choose this particular way only, like by expanding centers, by doing this, that, in the sense. So how to, when you say that personal ambitions or, how to understand that? It's very difficult.
For self, you're asking to understand for self?
Yeah, for self.
So one has to introspect.
And for others also.
Yeah, okay. So first one is one has to introspect. I introspect. Why I want to do this? Why I want to lead Kirtan? Because Prabhupada said, should sing for Radha Rasbihari. And why I want to sing? Because all the people in the temple don't know I am a good singer. Today they will come to know. So that's personal ambition. So one had to introspect. Keep on asking why, till you reach the end, which is either an instruction or a desire. So introspection, honest introspection. That's answer to first question. And a devotee should be introspective. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita. What is night for a materialist is a day for a sadhu. So what does the verse says? The devotee is introspective. And those who are engaging us, we should be observant. By that engagement, I should grow in my bhakti. And nobody should be harmed. No principle should be broken. Even subtle weeds should not be growing. If I am generating envy, if I am generating one-upmanship, if I am generating pride, that's not good. If I am not happily growing for years together, that's not good. Right? So one should understand. See, hearing such statements, one should not start becoming judgmental of everything. If things are going fine, we don't have to be worried, but there is alert. The alert should be there, the education should be there, that in case there is a deviation happening, I should be aware of it. Like if every day little rains, no problem, but there should be alert when flood may come, which is not everyday occasion, but it may happen because it's raining. So every day I am in association of devotees engaged, fine, no problem, but I should have alert. Right? So the inner joy will not be there for one who is getting exploited, unless he is a blind follower. So that alert should be there. Because ISKCON also has a history. And we should learn from the history, otherwise history will repeat itself. And we should always pray to Krishna for a sincere association. So a devotee should be introspective. That whether I am doing pure devotional service or mixed devotional service. Whether I am wanting something material in return of my bhakti or whether I am wanting to please Krishna. So personal ambition is something in return I want. That by serving Krishna, this is what I will achieve. It may be name, it may be fame, it may be followers, it may be money, it may be post, it may be facilities. This is what I will achieve if I do this bhakti. That's personal ambition.
So often when, like my understanding and my little experience is that like nobody has that thing in the beginning. Like we all start something with a very high spirit and somehow, we carry forward also that. Like I try to carry forward that same spirit, but then somehow it so happens that the others who are observing me, my colleagues or whatever, they may not look at that spirit because with the ongoing service, other things may also grow, like say wealth or some followers and this and that. So then how to take for personal self?
We should not be attached to the other growth. It may happen, it may not happen. If it happens, I am not attached to it. I just continue my service. Keep grounded in reading and hearing. So it's not just what others are seeing, it's what I am introspecting and seeing inside. So other things around me are happening, but I am not attached to it. It happens, it doesn't happen. That's why na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamai. I don't want all this. A, I don't have and I don't want. B, I have and I don't want. What do you think this prayer is? First one or second one? Second one is more prominent here. Because the previous sloka is Trinadapi Sunichina Tarori Vashaisana, Kirtaniya Sadari. If you are chanting whole time, would not all these things happen? Followers and all? Donations and all? It will happen. So I have and I don't want. So if you have something which you don't want, that's called austerity. So if material facilities are happening around you and it is austerity for you, that means there is no personal ambition. If there is enjoyment for you, wow, maja aa gaya, that means there is personal ambition also growing with it. Okay? So I have and I don't want. Yes, Madhav Sundar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I had a same question like him only, but a little part I want to clarify again. That sometimes we want to engage some devotees who are in under care. So often it happens that we are not able to understand their emotions, how much they can be engaged or how much they can be stressed in the exerted in the service of Lord. So, or at the same time, it is necessary to have that calculation or and then engage. But many times it happens that I go beyond the limit, their limits. So, what should be the our means? How we can tackle this?
So we talk and understand. We talk to an individual, understand, inspire them to do more and more. Everybody has a very great capacity, but it has to be gradually applied. And sometimes you have to experiment. There's no problem. If the relationship is good, you can experiment also. You'll get a feedback to stop. So at least the basic thing we should do. And if somebody is enthusiastic to do more, we should give that facility. So that's fine.
In Prabhuji's answer, Sharath Prabhuji's answer, you were mentioning for personal, we have to introspect our desires. For others who are engaging us, we have to be observant. So what things we can observe so that we will not be over-exalted like that?
Everything. Morning program, etiquette, character, sense control, intelligence, engagement, caring for others, body language, talking, whole history and geography. Not history, at least geography. Whole physics and chemistry. Everything we have to observe. Right? If a person is sincere, it's not difficult. Some people understand others in one meeting. Right? So we should be in mode of goodness. Then your intelligence is sharp. Then you are discriminatory. So you can discriminate between favorable and unfavorable association. So it's our mode of goodness which makes us sharp. Okay? Yes. Akshobhya, right? Akshobhya Prabhu. Yeah.
Prabhu, as you were mentioning, like we have to identify this weed of personal ambition and we should not do service for that. But what about encouraging someone who have no desire of performing devotional service to do some service on the basis of fulfilling some personal ambition? Will it help him or will it not be beneficial for him at all?
Well, yes, we encourage the person at a particular initial stage. At the same time, going forward, we give education that he makes devotional service prominent and personal ambition less prominent. So it starts with personal ambition more prominent, devotional service as a tool to fulfill personal ambition. Then gradually we educate that devotional service is more important. Personal ambition may or may not happen. And finally we say devotional service and only devotional service, no personal ambition. So we encourage initially and we educate so that he changes the party. Okay? Like Dhruva Maharaj, he had a personal ambition to get a kingdom bigger than his father's kingdom, bigger than his grandfather's kingdom. Yeah, you can get it by chanting this mantra and performing austerities and taking 3 times bath and meditating. He encouraged him. And he did that. And when he had darshan of Krishna, his personal ambition was over. Okay? Next, yes, Ras Bihari. Your name is Ras Bihari Prem, huh? Acha, after Radha Ras Bihari Prem Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead.
In our Bhakti Sastri course, that Sundar Sham Prabhuji told that devotees in ashram is like a dead man walking in the ashram. Like, so sometimes you see some devotees are very reserved and they don't care for emotion. They are like focused. They, with that help more in anartha nivritti. They don't want to waste time. But some devotees are also friendly and like some people try to.
What? Dead man walking in the ashram?
That is the phrase. Sundar Sham. No, he said that once you joined ashram for the worldly world, you are a dead person. Like that was his mood. For the world outside. World outside, you don't care much for the world outside. Now you are aloof from the worldly like sense gratification. So sometimes there is a mood amongst the brahmacharis like to be very reserved, and they don't talk. They'll just hear lectures and they will be strict to their thing. Will that help more in anartha nivritti, like not to be very friendly?
Well, there are different natures. And there is no wrong or right nature. Whatever nature a person has, introvert or extrovert, friendly or less friendly, one can continue performing bhakti.
Will that help if
All
you're more strict towards...
Wait, yeah, I got your question. All are encouraged suitably in an ashram. But becoming a sadhu doesn't mean you become stone. That I don't care whether somebody cries or laughs. I just do my chanting and hearing. That's not ISKCON. You don't become stone. You understand others' pain around you. That's called compassion. Right? So, one should be focused on one's chanting, hearing. At the same time, in an ashram, in association of Vaishnavas, in association of other devotees, one should have suitable response to things around. Especially if somebody is in pain. One should not be stone. If other brahmachari is in pain, I say, no, I want to hear my class. One should not be stone. One should respond to that pain. Or somebody should respond to that pain. Right? So more and more hearing, chanting is required anyway. And that's fine. That's okay. It will help purification, anartha nivritti. But not just dry, hearing, no relationships, no compassion. No. Both should be there. Okay? But ashram can have many species and many varieties. And we do have that. And that's fine. Nothing wrong about it. You just be attached to Krishna. That's the main thing. Do your sadhana. That's the main thing. You can have different variety and nature. That's fine. If everybody is same, imagine 100 Radha Ras Bihari is there. Radha Ras Bihari Prem Prabhu is there. Would you enjoy that ashram? Exact 100 your expansions, all equal. Would you enjoy? Boring ho jayega. So we need little difference, right? Okay? Next.
News even reached the celestial planets about Maharaj Yudhishthir's worldly possessions. The sacrifices by which he would attain a better destination, his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, and his fame, etc. Only a rich man and great man's name and fame are known all over the world. And the name and fame of Maharaj Yudhishthir reached the higher planets because of his good administration, worldly possessions, glorious wife Draupadi, the strength of his brothers Bhim and Arjuna, and his solid sovereign power over the world known as Jambudvip. Here the word Lokaha is significant. There are different lokas or higher planets scattered all over the sky, both material and spiritual. A person can reach them by dint of his work in the present life as stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. No forceful entrance is allowed there. The tiny material scientists and engineers who have discovered vehicles to travel over 1,000 miles in outer space will not be allowed entrance. That is not the way to reach the better planets. One must qualify himself to enter into such happy planets by sacrifice and service. Those who are sinful in every step of life can expect only to be degraded into animal life, to suffer more and more the pangs of material existence. And this is also stated in Bhagavad Gita 16.19. Maharaj Yudhishthir's good sacrifices and qualifications were so lofty and virtuous that even the residents of higher celestial planets were already prepared to receive him as one of them.
Sorry. So, the demigods in higher planets, they have much higher standard of life and pious activities. They don't even talk about residents in earthly planet, Gatiya. But they started talking about Yudhishthira Maharaj and his family and his Rajya, his kingdom, and his sacrifices and his bhakti and his brothers and Draupadi and palace and activities and sacrifices. That means it was not ordinary. It was beyond human, general human capacity. So that was Yudhishthira Maharaj. Even demigods talking about him. So that's great. And why this is great? Why he could accomplish this? Because he was serving Krishna. That's why he did Rajasuya sacrifice, to show to the world, because I am serving Krishna, I am so opulent and happy that I can do a Rajasuya sacrifice. So he did so many sacrifices. Next. Yes, Sundar Chaitanya Prabhu.
Here the Prabhupada writes no forceful entrance is allowed there. This may be little side thing, but nowadays India also has put one this thing, and then some days later it is supposed to land, and so many people are asking this question that what is our stand? Well, Prabhupada had told both ways. At some places Prabhupada said that nobody and nothing can go to moon. Some places he said that even if they go, what they will do, or things like that. So what is our like?
They don't go. They cannot go. If they go, what is the big deal? So our first stance is they go somewhere else. There is no proof. They go somewhere else. We don't know where they go. That's why they don't send anybody. If they actually go, why don't they send us? Huh? Where? See, somebody comes and makes a car. Is it a big deal? Already thousands of cars are on the road. Okay, if they went, what is the big deal? Already thousands of people are there already. Right? No forceful entry means okay. They were allowed to land. So the demigods allowed one or two missions to be successful. Demigods say, okay, they are trying so much, child is crying, NASA is crying, okay. One or missions they get successful. But the original idea of going to moon, Prabhupada said no. They didn't go. And already there's so many people are saying it was a failure, actually it was drama. Right? There's enough data on the internet for that. Okay? Next.
किं ते कामसुरस्पार्हा मुकुन्द मनसोद्विजा अधिजर्हुर्मुदं राज्ञा शोधितस्य यथेतरय. O Brahmanas, the opulence of the king was so enchanting that the denizens of heaven aspired for it. But because he was absorbed in the service of the Lord, nothing could satisfy him except the Lord's service. Purport. There are two things in the world which can satisfy living beings. When one is materially engrossed, he is satisfied only by sense gratification. But when one is liberated from the conditions of the material modes, he is satisfied only by rendering loving service for the satisfaction of the Lord. This means that the living being is constitutionally a servitor and not one who is served. Being illusioned by the conditions of the external energy, one falsely thinks himself to be the served, but actually he is not served. He is servant of the senses, like lust, desire, anger, avarice, pride, madness, and intolerance. When one is in his proper senses, by attainment of spiritual knowledge, he realizes that he is not the master of the material world, but is only a servant of the senses. At that time, he begs for the service of the Lord and thus becomes happy without being illusioned by so-called material happiness. Maharaj Yudhishthir was one of the liberated souls, and therefore for him there was no pleasure in a vast kingdom, good wife, obedient brothers, happy subjects, and prosperous world. These blessings automatically follow for a pure devotee, even though the devotee does not aspire for them. The example set herein is exactly suitable. It is said that one who is hungry is never satisfied by anything other than food. The whole material world is full of hungry living beings. The hunger is not for good food, shelter, or sense gratification. The hunger is for the spiritual atmosphere. Due to ignorance only, they think that the world is dissatisfied because there is not sufficient food, shelter, defense, and objects of sense gratification. This is called illusion. When the living being is hungry for spiritual satisfaction, he is misrepresented by material hunger. But the foolish leaders cannot see that even the people who are most sumptuously materially satisfied are still hungry. And what is their hunger and poverty? This hunger is actually for spiritual food, spiritual shelter, spiritual defense, and spiritual sense gratification. These can be obtained in the association of the Supreme Spirit, Lord Sri Krishna, and therefore one who has them cannot be attracted by the so-called food, shelter, defense, and sense gratification of the material world, even if they are relished by the denizens of the heavenly planets. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita 8:16, it is said by the Lord that even in the topmost planet of the universe, namely the Brahmaloka, where the duration of life is multiplied by millions of years by earth calculation, one cannot satisfy his hunger. Such hunger can be satisfied only when the living being is situated in immortality, which is attained in the spiritual sky, far, far above the Brahmaloka, in the association of Lord Mukunda, the Lord who awards his devotees the transcendental pleasure of liberation.
So Yudhishthira Maharaj had so much material opulence that demigods also got attracted. Now, what demigods have is higher than human society. They don't do shopping here. But if they get attracted to Yudhishthira Maharaj opulence, that means he has something higher than what demigods have. So by serving Krishna, you get what? More than what you get by serving demigods. So even demigods got attracted. But Yudhishthira Maharaj had no attachment and no attraction. He was only interested in service of Krishna. That's a pure devotee of Krishna, who is interested only in Krishna, whether heaven or hell, whether he's a king or a pauper, doesn't matter. Only by service of Krishna one can be completely satisfied. And the whole world is lacking in Krishna consciousness. And so-called leaders are trying to make them satisfied and happy by so many different schemes and arrangements and plans, but they'll never be successful. Only by Krishna consciousness they can satisfy the praja. That's where ISKCON comes in. And only by giving Krishna consciousness to others, we can make them happy, really happy. So ISKCON, and being part of ISKCON, we have a very, very great responsibility. We should be convinced that only Krishna consciousness is the need of the society. Only Krishna consciousness is lacking. Everything else is there. And we should give it to people in a proper package. The way you package for students is different from the way you package for congregation. The way you package for Indian audience is different from the way you package in Western audience. The way you package for children is different from the way you package to businessman. So devotee should be intelligent and innovative enough to package in such a way that whoever comes in our contact or whoever is our target audience, they receive it. And we are already doing that. So we should multiply, we should scale up, we should do more and more. If you are doing college preaching, do more and more. If you are doing school preaching, do more and more. If you are doing book distribution, do more and more. If you are doing Food for Life, do more and more. You should get inspired to scale it up. Go from 10 to 100 and 100 to 1000 and 1000 to 10,000 and 10,000 to 1 lakh. Increase it. Don't stop where you are. We should do it more and more. This whole world requires. There's very big scope outside. So ISKCON is meant for that. Each one of us is meant for that. And don't hold yourself back. Don't hold your skills, talents, capacity, energy back. Do more and more. Whatever you are doing, have a higher vision, a higher goal that I have to do more and more. Purely for the pleasure of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he did so much nice service that he became emperor of the whole planet. And Krishna made him the emperor by organizing the war and winning the war. Because Krishna wanted such a person to become the emperor. So Krishna will give you the whole planet if you are qualified. So Krishna wants to make whole planet Krishna conscious. But he's looking for a qualified soul. He's looking to empower. So he will choose us when we choose ourselves. That yes, I want to be instrument in Krishna's service, whatever way. So we should take this mission very, very seriously. Srila Prabhupada didn't sit in Vrindavan to chant his rounds. At such a age, with heart condition and seemingly no material resource, he traveled to USA soil and established the society. Now we are sitting in nice AC room and reading Bhagavatam on a chair. Everything is there. No struggle. 9 o'clock prasad ready with 2 sabjis. Even if you don't do anything in the whole day, 4 o'clock again prasad ready. No earning required, no struggle required. So we should not become lazy. We should go out and preach more and more. What go out? There are lakhs of people coming inside the temple. And we should organize ourselves nice so that more and more preaching happens to the souls who are coming inside. So we should apply our youthful energy and our intelligence in always serving and preaching. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj, to prove to the whole world that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And create such a ISKCON that demigods would want to come to ISKCON. That way I want to come to Juhu Brahmacharya Ashram. For sadhu bhojan. Okay? Yes, Madhav Sundar, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in this purport, Prabhupada was mentioning that hunger is actually for spiritual food, spiritual shelter, spiritual defense and spiritual sense gratification. So Prabhuji, here what is spiritual defense?
Protection from Maya. People try to protect themselves from climate or from thieves, those who will take away your property or give you pain. Spiritual defense is protection from Maya, because Maya is going to take away your Krishna consciousness, which is actual wealth. So people are looking for spiritual defense, means they want an atmosphere where their bhakti is protected. An association of devotees where their bhakti is protected. Okay? Yes, Aditya Ram Prabhu.
One struggles in this material world. So desire, he mentions about 6 enemies. So my question is, Prabhuji, how these only 6 enemies are decided, like lust, anger, greed, and why only these 6? Because there are many.
There are many.
Yeah, like intolerance is there, laziness is there, madness is there. So only 6. Why Sadripus are mentioned in the scriptures?
Means, I didn't get you. Can you read the sentence?
Yeah, so here it is mentioned that he is the servant of senses like lust, desire, anger, avarice, pride, madness. So generally we read in the scripture Sadripus, 6 enemies.
Okay. 6 anarthas.
6 anarthas, yeah. So there are so many anarthas. Alas is also there, intolerance is there.
Yeah, they all come from these 6. You know what is called span? For example, a graph with horizontal and vertical axis. Every other point is related to these 2 axes. It can be spanned by the coordinates on this axis. So every other anartha can be spanned to one or more of these 6 basic anarthas: lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. They come out of this.
So that was Prabhuji, lust is sufficient to signify all the 5 also?
Yes. If you say lust, it should be sufficient to intelligent people. But we have somebody who is not intelligent also. So we say lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. 6. In future there will be people who are not even intelligent of now. So 6 ka 16 ho jayega. Prominently we'll have to say lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, and Facebook, and YouTube, and Instagram, and Twitter, and WhatsApp, and Telegram. 12 ho gaya. So after 100 years, more will be get added, because people will not be intelligent When you just say lust, they will not understand. Like the Vedas, they were one. They were divided into four. Why? Because people are less intelligent. Then the four were written down because people are less intelligent. Now you need to search in the folio because people are less intelligent, less memory. Folio scholars. So it's like that. So if by saying lust you understand the whole game, that's fine. But not everybody will understand. So these 6 prominent are there. So we are supposed to understand the whole game by these 6. If not, then we'll add 6 more. They are all anarthas. And they are related to lust. Lust is the primary enemy, formidable enemy number 1. Okay? Next.
Text 7. Matrur
No. Those who didn't read will want that. You read already? Yeah.
Maturgarbhagato Veera Satada Bhrugunandana Dadarsha Purusham Kanchid Dahyamanostra Tejasa. Translation. O son of Bhrugu, Shaunaka, when the child Parikshit, the great fighter, was in the womb of his mother Uttara and was suffering from the burning heat of the Brahmastra thrown by Ashwadhama, he could observe the Supreme Lord coming to him.
Halt. So, just to continue my answer to Adityaram Prabhu's question, how many colors are there? There are only 3. When you mix them, you get unlimited colors. So the 6, if you mix, you get all other anarthas. But those who understand, you say 3. Those who don't understand, we say unlimited. Both the answers are correct. Okay? How many verses are there in Bhagavatam? Otherwise there are 4. If you understand 4, you understand 18,000. But we are not so intelligent, so there is expansion. Otherwise Brahma understood the whole 18,000 in 4. Right? So knowledge is also like that. You don't have to understand whole Bhagavatam. You understand one key point, sufficient. If not, then you have to keep on reading whole Bhagavatam. So knowledge is like that. So there is key point. Like as you said, lust is a key. All other anarthas come out. It's like that. Okay, I halted him. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Purport. Death generally
Tolerated it. And this all happened by the blessings of Krishna, who protected him. And he saw Krishna in the womb, inside the stomach of his mother. Next. Yes. So after death, you are in the womb of a mother, and for first 7 months you are not conscious. The consciousness becomes active at the 7th month of pregnancy.
But you have
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Soul is there, but the body is not equipped to express the consciousness. At the 7th month, the consciousness arises. Otherwise, very painful. Okay. Yes.
in one previous question, like how we'll get conviction that Bhagavatam will solve all the problems. Like you were mentioning that hear from those with conviction and associate with those with conviction and apply. Like first 2 are happening, like hearing and associating, but applying is like not happening, like in my case. Then how to increase applying part?
So what we are doing whole day, chanting, reading, dancing, hearing, is applying only. We are applying Bhagavatam in our lifestyle. So if anything happens in your life, you seek an answer in Bhagavatam and apply that answer. So that's applying. Right? So what we learn, let me apply it and see whether it works for me. So we apply it appropriately. Okay? Yes. Who raised for Akshobhya?
Prabhu, one devotee was asking this question to me. Here it is written like in the first line, death generally involves remaining in trance for 7 months. That means after that we go to another womb. Somewhere else also Prabhupada writes in a purport that after death we go in a womb again and then we be there in for 7 months unconscious and then not unconscious but not fully aware, and then in the 7th month we get life. So somebody was asking, when do we go then to heavenly or hellish planets in between? Where is that time calculated?
So this is talking only about very specific event where you go back to a human body, a human mother's womb. Right? So even if somebody goes to heaven or hell, though you will not come back to human form. So you will go to heaven, you come back to human form. 7 months you are unconscious in the womb of the mother. So this is not talking about death, heaven, womb. This is only talking about the womb part. That after that this will happen, whether you go to heaven or not. So if you go to heaven, you come back to the womb of the mother. 7 months you will be sleeping. So in both the cases it happens. So if you go to heaven, it will be after death, heaven, then womb, like that. In fact, there is a much bigger process. After you go to heaven, you come back in a drop of water through rain. Then you become a grain. Then a man will eat the grain. Then the soul goes into the semen. And the semen is discharged in the womb. Then 7 months inactive. Then consciousness, active, pain and pleasure. Then at 9th month, the baby comes out. Hell, those who go generally, they will not come back as human. Animal species, lower species. Okay? Madhav, same answer? Good boy. Aditya Ram Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we heard that first Prime Minister of India became dog in next birth.
First?
Prime Minister of India.
Okay.
So after human life, if he has to go to dog life, I heard that he has to go through a training in Yamlok, Narak. So that goes for millions of years. But recently he was Prime Minister and he became a dog. So how these millions of years got spanned in this?
So somebody might have got trained in human life only. Especially those who marry, they get trained as a dog. Sometimes. So don't be bothered about that. There are so many dogs in human form, na? They are ready to become dogs. They don't need training. No? They bark, they run, they sniff, they eat junk food. There are so many female dogs around them. So already they are trained. Most of the population is already trained to become a good dog.
We also hear, Prabhuji, there are more than 30,000 registered cases of reincarnation scientifically. So for taking next birth, one has to pass through some heaven or hell.
Not necessary. And even if it is there, the time is not equal to the human society. The number of years is not equal to the human society. It can be in a flash also.
Like heavenly planets, if one goes, then it is always longer.
Yeah, it is longer. Hell is it's smaller.
But if,
Like
you already said, if one goes to hell, then he will not have human body.
In general, yes. So not everybody has to go to heaven and hell. They can just take birth again in earth planet and get the suffering here. See, every criminal doesn't have to go to central jail. They can just go to a lockup, have some punishment and come back. Only hardcore criminals have to go to central jail, Nasik or something like that. Otherwise, इधर ही lockup में जू में बंद करके मार के भागा देगा उसको. So some who do little bit sinful activities, they are just punished in the same life or next life. They don't have to go to hell separately. Those who do major sinful activity, they go to hell. So both the possibilities are there. And it's more complicated than we can even measure. So Yamaraj manages it nicely. So even in this life, the punishment is received. Even in next life, the punishment is received. Not necessarily whole punishment has to be there in hellish planet. Major part is in hell planet, partly is here also. So the sufferings here are also part of the same papa and part of the same Yamaraj punishment. Local authorities, local jail, not central jail. It's like that.
So that is correct for few cases that might be, but we see that 30,000, all the cases, they were just few years separate.
So 30,000 is few only now. Is it more?
No, out of 30,000, all 30,000.
So,
So it is more.
Out of millions, 30,000, na?
We have only seen 30,000. If you see millions, might be it is all millions, because the reported thing is 100% giving that.
Yeah, so there are few out of millions. Now 30,000 is few out of millions. All 30,000 are part of your example.
They have not been observed.
Right. But there are millions. Out of millions, 30,000 are part of your example, na? Who didn't go to hell or heaven. So 30,000 is few only among 7 billion. Right? So going to heaven and hell is not just geographical. You can be staying in a Mumbai city and still be in hell. Right? Especially if you are born on the road in a local train. Hell only. So it's not just geographical. That is also called hell. Right? There are many different types of hells. Okay? Okay, think over it. Yes.
In readings that sometimes for students prays to the Lord for such liberation in the womb. So each soul pray for liberation or?
Okay, so at the 7th month when the consciousness is active and there is heavy pain, there are some souls who are mode of goodness previous life, they remember and they pray to Krishna that, my dear Lord, I am stuck here in a very painful condition and it's all because I didn't serve you. If I had served you, I would have got liberated and I would not come to the womb of the mother again. So somehow you relieve my suffering from this womb, and I promise you that once I come out, I will become your devotee and I'll never go to the womb again. So fortunate soul prays like that. And Krishna says, every time you are praying, every time you are not doing, say, no, this time final, last. I'll definitely serve you. So then by the time it's 9 months, Krishna allows him to come out. As soon as he comes out, he's supposed to start serving Krishna because he promised in the womb. But then there are so many uncle, auntie, dada, dadi, nana, nani, kaka, kaki, chacha, chachi, mama, mami, parents, ale, they forget, the child forget Krishna. And again same procedure is repeated. So all this Maya captures him. So a fortunate soul in mode of goodness remembers his pathetic condition in the womb and he prays to Krishna.
So devotee also suffer in the womb? Or?
Yeah, unless he is a perfect soul, he also has to go through this. Okay? If somebody is not perfect, 100%, and he dies half, less than 100% bhakti, then he has to take birth in the womb of a mother. So suffering will be there. Okay? Okay, time up. It's already 1:30. We will end here. Thank you very much. We meet again at 2:30. As we discussed initially, it's not teaching, it's learning. So it's responsibility of both of us to complete the syllabus. Right? Huh? So I welcome all the questions, but you be responsible to complete the syllabus. Okay? So please read and come. If you read and come, we can spend less time in reading bigger purports and go faster over the questions. We'll spend more time with the questions. Okay? Is there, if there is any feedback about the way you want to continue the sessions, feel free to mention to me. I will incorporate. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.